Good morning, children. Welcome to your third and final video for Standard 9th. We were discussing the chapter Weathering the Storm in Irsama, written by Harsh Mandar. This discusses about the storm that totally devastated the coastal city of Irsama in Odisha. It was in the year 1999 that the storm hit and caused a lot of devastation and destruction. We will discuss the question and answers first. The question and answers of this chapter are very important, particularly from the point of view of your half-yearly test, because these are the chapters which has the maximum number of long answer questions. So, what were the havoc caused by? First question is, what were the havoc caused by the super cyclone? So I give you a few points. You have to write them in your own words, in paragraphs. Basically, the cyclone hit Orissa in October 1999. The coastal areas in coastal Orissa were devastated by this. It wrecked the coasts of Orissa. If we describe the first thing that we need to describe is what was the super cyclone. So the description of super cyclone was incessant and torrential rainfall took place, and it was accompanied by a storm which velocity was over 350 kilometers per hour. Just imagine that mammoth velocity and what amount of devastation this kind of strong storm caused. And the sea water entered the villages and totally washed away the houses. Only a few houses were left. Most of the houses were washed away by the sea water. That was the intensity of water that stepped in. Now, as a result of the sea water surging ahead, the entire area was flooded. 3 days later, Prashant was returning to his village when even then he had water up to the level above his waist. So clearly it can be stated that the cyclone was very destructive. And many places Prashant couldn't walk. He had to swim. The depth of water was so immense. As a result, the entire area was flooded. The ancient trees have their roots very deep, and they were uprooted by the wind. The storm that hit Irsama uprooted even ancient trees. One tree fell on the house of Prashant's friend where Prashant was staying, although that ended up being a blessing in disguise, because for the 3 days they spent on the roof without any water or food. It was those coconut on which they survived. Then houses were washed away. When he looked from the top of in the next morning, when he looked from the top of the roof, he noticed only few houses were standing, the Pakka houses, including the house Prashant was, that had survived. Even after a coconut tree had fallen over it, it was lucky that they survived. The entire area seemed to be washed away. Then he saw dead bodies of human beings and animals floating all around, and they were enormous in number. So many people and animals were killed. Several people were injured. When he reached the camp among the 2,500 people, many of them were injured. And women were widowed while children were orphaned. That too, when he reached the camp, he found out many children, the number was huge, many in numbers, children who had been orphaned, and many women had been widowed. So this is the description of the cyclone that wrecked the life of people of Odisha. Now we come to the next question. What is Prashant's contribution? How did he help the people of the village? So let's take a view of, in brief, the contributions made by Prashant. First, he was the one who took the initiative to lead the people and guide them how to survive this disaster. Second, he was very proactive. He was hardly reactive. He knew what to do beforehand, like how to arrange rice from the local merchant, how to draw the attention of the relief helicopters, these are few proactive measures that he took, right? He realized the women were getting depressed, the widows in particular, and the orphan children. He knew how to distract their mindset so that they don't think of their loss and try to participate. So there are he somehow made an initiative so that the orphans and the children don't sink deeper into their loss and their sorrow. Followed by he made a team of youth also. He knew the importance of sanitization in a place where people are injured. So before any diseases could occur, he cleaned the places for the inhabitants. Then he sent the men to work for food, while the women were assigned the job of taking care of the children. Then he also, as I told you earlier, he also made the children lie with empty utensils on their belly to draw the attention of the relief helicopters that were earlier not able to trace them. But these women and children played the parts very well, and they were able to procure food for the shelter in the initial stages. Later they went out to join the food for work program started by an NGO. Then he kept the widows and the orphans cheerful. For the widows, he sent them to work for food, while for the orphans, he organized cricket match, and who were sinking in their depression, they became cheerful after that. Now the next question is, what are the role of people and women? So first, they procured food and medicine for each other. The shelter, whoever in the shelter, they procured that. They clean and sanitize the shelter. They participated in food for work programs. The ladies took care of the children, and later they too participated in the food for work program started by an NGO. So they were all under Prashant's leadership. They came together in their situation of their distress to help each other out of that condition, right? And basically it was all possible to mobilize people. Basically we need a leader to mobilize people to help each other. Leader can't do anything. Leader can only lead. He can mobilize, and Prashant did exactly that. He mobilized people, and all the people were together, were in arms and helping each other. Now the next question asks, why did they oppose the institute that was being built for orphans and widows? The first logic and very obvious logic is, the women and children would feel alienated in the shelter because they will be away from the society, they will be locked there. He believed that everyone should be a part of normal society and not alienate them by putting in some institute where they will stay alone. And children in such institutes don't get much love and affection, and that would be disastrous for the future. And this coming from a 19-year-old boy who had such maturity, such vision, is a great thing to see. And this is not a fiction, this is a true story. So these heroes are among us, between us. He also believed there would be a stigma of orphan and widow if they go to the institute, and they would feel lonely over there. So he felt it was better that the orphan children were adopted by childless couples and widows who were childless. So this was the idea, which was again a great idea. The last question is, there is no point because you have to write it on your own. Do you think Prashant is a good leader? The typical qualities of Prashant you have to mention. And do you think young people can get together and help each other during natural calamities? Of course, it's always the case. These natural calamities, natural disasters are great motivational force towards uniting people. Anywhere there is flood, there is some kind of a disaster, people from all across the country either go there to give their whatever contribution they could do, or send money So we have seen that, but natural calamities always bring out the humanity close together. So these were the question and answer. And I hope that will be all. Further, we will meet in the class again. Till then, goodbye.